This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with a save. For the second here. A classic counter-attack, and Gibbs White puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's Wood. 1-0 Forest. They've made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Welcome to this deadline special here on Red Side of the Trent, here to discuss all things that have happened in the summer, as well as everything else that's gone off recently in terms of obviously losing to West Ham yesterday. We're going to talk about the ins, the outs, everything that's gone off, obviously, and I'm delighted to be joined by Christian Brown and Lee Clark. Guys, how are we? First of all, Christian, I'll start with yourself.
Yeah, not too bad. Not like Forest, a sort of complete a roller coaster of emotions, but yeah, not too bad. It's like I think like everyone else trying to keep up to date with everything. It's been the most mental deadline day I can remember in a long, long time. You probably have to go back to like when Ozil went to Arsenal, when that Sky reporter got a purple dildo in his ear. Like you have to go back quite a long way before you actually get one as chaotic as this. So this is everything. You've had Isak, you've had Gahey, you've had obviously all the chaos of Forest and Backer and God knows whatever else. So yeah, it's been a pretty draining experience. I'm not even involved in it all, but yeah, I'm all right other than that. Yeah,
good. Lee, happy to have you here for a change. I know you've been very, very busy, and you probably more than most can't wait for this to all finish, I guess.
No, I am quite pleased it's 7 o'clock, so I'm not working till midnight for a change, which is good, especially with the US Open on, because midnight is the norm at the moment, covering tennis as well, of course. But yeah, the tennis having a Grand Slam, I suppose, is a nice distraction from that debacle yesterday, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. Susanna's joined us from Forest Focus, so thank you. Premier Elliott, obviously friend of the pod. Evening, guys, ready for some sensible chat? And then he says, "Then you say purple dildo." I mean, twice in a couple of
I can't pretend that didn't happen because it did. Bring it back. Bring back reporters outside of training grounds, and bring back fans sort of congregating outside them while they give their little reports. That's when it was good then.
Well, this is the thing though, that Sky are so behind everything nowadays. It's internet sleuths and journalists. But we'll start with the depressing stuff, which was obviously losing to West Ham yesterday. First of all, Christian, what was your overall thoughts as I don't know whether you stayed till the full 99th minute or you proceeded to get down the M1 as soon as possible, seeing you live down in Kent. How was you feeling either or?
As soon as that Wilson header hit the back of the net, I went straight down the stairs. Awful, just absolutely awful. I mean, I think though it's difficult because it's very easy to get carried away and swept away when you are awful, because agendas get kicked into overdrive and sort of conspiracy theories get ramped up to the extreme and whatever else, and then normal sensible people lose all sorts of rationality when you have a performance that bad. I mean, that was straight out of the Championship. I mean, you have to go back to what Sheffield Wednesday 4-0 with Sabri, I think, before we lost the game that badly. Like last time, that was what, 6 years ago. So, I think the most annoying part for me is that we all sort of felt those days were behind us. That performance was gone. Like to concede 3 goals in that sort of space of time was done. To be that naive was done. We all sort of thought that was like a chapter closed. But it was just the most Forest thing imaginable, wasn't it? Went into the game as overriding favourites and just put them up charity FC clinic. Even by Forest standards, it's ridiculous to lose 3-0 to that lot. He's 11 goals in 3 games and played like a Sunday League team in the first half. We just let them off the hook. So, yeah, overriding feeling of extreme frustration, I think. But, yeah, I mean, like we've all we can do now is just we put a squad together, which it looks like we're trying to do, and try and move on from it as quickly as we can. But, yeah, I mean, there's no getting away from it. Yesterday was bad. Extremely, extremely bad.
Yeah. Lee, do you echo those thoughts as well?
Yeah, it appears Christian went at exactly the same point as I did as well. I don't usually leave early, to be honest.
No, me neither.
Doing, but yeah, can't disagree with anything he said. It was just terrible. It was weirdly, I think if we had lost 1-0, I think it'd be like one of them games where the first goal decided, but it was the fact that we went back to Cooper in the first season of the Prem in terms of conceding one and then 7 minutes later we're 3-0 down. It's just we seem to have this knack of going a goal behind and then all of a sudden we just panic and start trying to players step out of their comfort zones, and Murillo starts thinking he's De Bruyne and starts trying to ping balls all over West Bridgford. There's just, we need a little bit of composure when we concede. I mean, there was always going to be lots of injury time, I thought, yesterday, because obviously the thing that happened in the stand and there was VAR checks and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, West Ham fans had said in the build-up that when they score first, they still don't feel confident. So there was always a chance that we might still nick an equaliser. But yeah, I mean, I don't actually think the ref helped us with the second goal, but that's not really an excuse because it wouldn't matter who was reffing yesterday. We were just second best across the park, really, I suppose.
Yeah, delighted to obviously get across the message that the fan that did go to Iconelli, he's actually doing all right now. He's in hospital. It's not as serious as they first thought, but still obviously a serious matter. So I hope he has a speedy recovery. So yeah, and good that everyone kind of caught on to it and all the players did and sorted that and got him medical attention as soon as possible. So I hope he makes a speedy recovery. I mean, he got away with it, really, getting away that early because the game was that bad, Christian. I mean, how much do you put it down to Nuno or the players? Because we had obviously a big discussion, me, Danny and Reece yesterday about individual performances, including Nuno in that category. And some people might think it got taken out of proportion, but I think with everything that's gone on, I think it was only right that we kind of took it that far, maybe.
I mean, look, the whole result was down to Nuno. I mean, there's no escaping it. He was reactive rather than proactive. He was too long in the tooth with his tactics. Didn't change it till too late. When he brought McAtee on, he should have changed the entire supporting three at that point. Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs-White should come off that moment in time. There was a moment with 20 minutes to go where West Ham were completely penned in, and at that point, I felt, get Luiz on for Sangare, give him 20 minutes. Like, we know that against defences that are sitting in, Luiz is the sort of player you want on that pitch to sort of help, pick that lock or whatever else. Didn't, and then it's just stupid. I mean, the goals themselves again just very frustrating. I mean, I still have issue with the second one, to be honest. I mean, I don't want to get Nuno off too much because this is very squarely at his feet, but I'm still yet to understand how it can go from our advantage to their penalty within 5 seconds. That's just completely blown my mind. But again, Craig Pawson and inept referees, what can you say? But no, it's completely on Nuno. I mean, it's like, again, you can normally account for one or two players having an off game, not pretty much the entire team. I mean, Gibbs-White, like we were saying earlier, that's you all know my thoughts on Gibbs-White. You know how much I appreciate him as a footballer and how good I think he is. But that was one of the worst individual performances we've seen in a Forest shirt since promotion. He was absolutely abject. He was lucky to see the second half, let alone get pretty much the whole 90. But I guess what I did have issue with yesterday is just this notion that, Gibbs-White, every time he has a bad game, it's like, has his head turned? I mean, that's nonsense. Like, the first game of the season, he was arguably man of the match against Brentford. He's one of the many contenders for that position and got an outrageously good assist. We can't just say, that's par for the course when he plays well, and then say, is his head somewhere else when he plays badly. He's human. Players are going to have bad games. And likewise, managers are going to make bad decisions. And Nuno did. I think, last season we sort of allowed him a bit to we gave him sort of some rope, I suppose, when it came to being reactive rather than proactive. So I guess you could say the subs weren't necessarily there. The depth wasn't there. We had like Jota, Sousa, players who didn't necessarily trust that much, it seemed like. Now he's got those players. You can't be bringing on Hutchinson and Cali Mwendo on an 89th minute when you're already 2 goals down, when you're chasing the game. That's just stupid. It's absolutely stupid. So, he's got these options there. If he can see the game's like not going the way he wants it to, you've got plan B, C, D right there. There's no excuse not to use them. He didn't do it yesterday. And I think that's one of the reasons why there's like so much fallout, if you like, because as well as the high intentions as was from the Willie won't he stay or whatever else. But I mean, it's bad enough losing at the bottom of the league when they've conceded 11 goals in 3 games, like I said before. it honestly felt like Potter was probably one game away from the sack. We just bought him 4 more games with that result yesterday. And really, given how bad West Ham were in the first half, I think any other Premier League team who wanted to try and attack would have been 3-0 up at half time. That's also on Nuno. So,
Yeah.
of course, the players have to take some responsibility as well, because, like I said, you can't have it a case where all of them are bad. I mean, you go through the whole team, the only one who earned his wage was Sells. Then you can look at maybe Sangare and Williams as middle-of-the-road performers, 5 out of 10. One of them's giving a penalty away. Everyone else is a 3 at best. At best. Like, you go through the whole team, which is poor, extremely poor, very poor. It wasn't good enough. Very usual, reliable performance, just weren't at it yesterday. So they have to take responsibility as well. But equally, why hasn't the manager changed that? So buck stops with him ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, I'm sorry that you've got to follow that a little bit, but your opinion as well, I'd like to hear it.
What, just on the performance in general?
Just like, I mean, what do you make of it all? Like, is it a Nuno thing? Was it a players thing? Because Brentford, we absolutely rolled them over. The scoreline flattered them. Palace, we could have nicked it. Yesterday just seemed a little bit dejected ideas, a little bit uncertain of what our game plan was. When the last 2 weeks, it's been a little bit more evident of what we're trying to do against teams that are going to sit in against us. I just felt like it was really obvious of what we should have been doing, and Nuno didn't. He just seemed too hesitant to do it. Gibbs White would have got if Pep Guardiola takes Gibbs White off if he's playing him for City and he plays like that. So why was he any different for Nottingham Forest when you've got James McAtee who's come from City to come and try and dislodge him essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a new thing that Nuno's not overly accomplished when it comes to utilising his bench, is he really? Because we've said it before when we've lost games under Nuno, especially at home, that his subs or his tactical tweaks have been lacking. So yeah, I can't say it's a new thing. I think I agreed on everything that Christian said about Morgan Gibbs-White there. I think there's going to be this perception all season that when he plays amazing, it's par for the course, and when he plays poorly, it's going to be, he wants to go to Tottenham, so that's why he's playing crap. That's going to get really boring for me. I think that's going to get really tedious really quickly. And it's fine if you don't rate Morgan Gibbs-White. That's not what I'm saying. I just think it's, at least be consistent with it. If you think he wants to go, when he plays well, he probably still wants to go. So it's not going to do Morgan Gibbs-White any favours this year in a World Cup year to be chucking it in, as some seem to be suggesting, because he knows he's going next summer. That's just completely ridiculous. And yeah, that probably was the worst I've seen him play yesterday. But again, he's not become crap all of a sudden because he's had a really stinking performance. He's not all of a sudden a rubbish player. And there's this perception in there that people have to come out now and say, well, I've always said it about him. I've always said that he might be in danger of being dropped. Nonsense, absolutely rubbish. I just don't agree with it. I think it's poor, to be honest. But yeah, the performance was drab. There's no getting away from that. West Ham aren't very good, are they? I mean, you've got Max Kilman swinging his left foot like a not Senior League Division 3 player. And no offence to anyone playing at that level of football, of course. But they're not getting paid 100 grand a week to make those passes, are they? I mean, it was embarrassing. If you see that in League 1 and League 2, you kind of say, that's the level we're playing at here. That's where you notice the difference between that and the Prem. Yeah, we didn't do any of the positives that we did against Brentford, against West Ham, and it's just frustrating. I mean, you can give them a little bit of credit for sitting in and making life difficult, but when you've got a squad like ours, it's up to us to you've got to get the first goal. Me and Reece on about it in the nav beforehand. You've got to get that first goal. You get that first goal, that game plan that they've come with just goes out of the window. Then they have to open up, and in theory, you should get 2 or 3 more goals. So, yeah, definitely work to do. I mean, I'll say it now. I actually think this new squad might actually, if he does stay, I think it might ultimately find Nuno out, because now he's got no excuses not to make these tactical tweaks in games, because he's got a bench brimming with, he's got 200 million on the bench almost. Maybe that's a slight stretch, but he's certainly got over 100 million on the bench every single week. So there's not going to be any excuse for him to say, well, this is my 11, I've got nothing in reserve. Marinakis and the powers that be are going to be saying, look, why did you keep them on the pitch when we were losing? They're going to say, get the other guys on. So, yeah, it's that one particular game has done more harm than good for Nuno, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, while I was hypercritical of Gibbs White yesterday, I mean, I think he's a fabulous player. What he gives you off the ball, never mind on it, is incredible endeavour. I just felt like yesterday, I think it was going that badly for him. It kind of that all went out, but hopefully it's a new day, it's a new week. He's going off to England, clear his head, away from the newborn for a few weeks. He might get some rest, and hopefully we come back fresh for Arsenal. I mean, we're all pretty much. We don't do very well at the Emirates, so we'll kind of write it off. But Lewis Morris, if Nuno won't use the squad he's built now, some incredible talent already been bought in, add the likes of backward today, then he needs to hand it over to someone who will. Incredible depth. Now, like you say, Lee, he's got no excuse now. If this continues for the next several games and this relationship between himself and Edu by sounds of it rather than Marinakis, and he's walking treaded water by the sounds of it. But let's get into the transfer window. We'll start with what's happened today. So Eric De Silva Moreira has gone to Rio Ave on loan. Josh Bowler's had his contract terminated. We've had a lad come from Chelsea go to Wickham in Donnell McNeely. I mean, what a great name that is. And like, yeah, goal machine apparently for in the Premier League 2 or whatever for Chelsea. So hopefully that works out. And then it sounds like Dylan Backward from Strasbourg is going to finally come. Tupper is going to get like a percentage of this deal, surely. Bless him. Cuyabano's finally going to come from Botafogo and Big John in goal. And obviously the deal for Javi Gallan's gone off. I know Scott's just put that in the chat, but I know that seems to have collapsed. Christian, it's never deadline day without a few twists and turns it from Marinakis.
No, he loves it. He loves it more than Jim White loves that yellow tie. I'm telling you. I can't remember what player article I read it was once upon a time. I think they said that he sort of sees it as a massive game of poker. Who's going to fall? What sort of card's going to fall? And I suppose there is some benefit in that. I mean, obviously, if Backward comes off, you could argue who's right to hold out. I mean, I think it kind of the Backward deal. It did kind of feel like Gahey and Palace, and that they were sort of waiting until they had their Conference League group status secured before any like deal was going to happen in any situation. He was never going to leave before those playoffs. Yeah, I mean, it's never boring. I imagine the Garland thing will be, obviously, if the initial plan would have been, I suppose, he comes in as backup to Williams and Cuyabano goes on loan to Olympiacos. I'm guessing now if that is off, then Cuyabano will have to step up. Opportunities arise like that. We need a backup left back for Williams. That's going to happen. I'm sure he can learn a lot being around the first team anyway. So, yeah, I think one of the things we saw yesterday was this crippling need for four wingers in a team, two for each side. Signing Backward tells me that he'll be double door on the left and Backward and Hutchinson on the right, which is pretty strong. There's no way about it. It's pretty strong. And just I know it's very difficult to escape the Nuno sort of clouds at the minute, but like I tweeted earlier, you ask Glasner, you ask Marco Silva, you ask even Iraola, for example, would you swap your problems at your respective clubs for what Nuno's got at Forest and the squad he's got? I guarantee you every single one of them says yes. They would much rather have Nuno's issues with the squad that he's got now than have their own respective issues at their current club. So, we've built a very good squad. Marinakis has done what he said he'd do. He's built a squad ready to compete. Now it's up to him. Now it's up to them and the coaching staff to go and prove it. Because, I mean, it's very clear now that whereas we're all sort of thinking, mid-table be the aim, statistically, if you go into Europe and you're not part of the Big Six, you lose 9 points the next season. It's very clear Marinakis has no time for that whatsoever. He wants at least to maintain where we were last season, if not more, likely with a trophy in the bag. That squad's got it in it and do it. It's just they've got to do it on the pitch now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know those deals, apart from Big John Victor, that's been confirmed. I know Cuyabano and Backward were waiting for, but as long as they've got paperwork in and all that, it can get announced whenever after the 7 o'clock deadline. I mean, Lee, how I know you're waiting to write your last few paragraphs about Dylan Backward, but what have you seen that you hope to see on the City Ground pitch?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I've only really seen what all these league earn hipsters keep putting on X, to be honest. But he does look good. What I like about him is he looks quite physical for a winger. He's not slight. He's got a bit of substance about him, which is good. So yeah, I am all for it. I'm sold. like I said to my wife this morning, she was like, "Oh, who's he?" I was like, "Well, I've never really heard of him, but I'm convinced he's going to be Thierry Henry 2.0 after a couple of YouTube videos." So, yeah, he does look like a nice profile as well. He's not. I get that the French league is inferior to ours, but he has been doing well in the French league, so that's all you can ask. It's not like he's coming with average numbers to us. So yeah, fingers crossed. It's I would imagine a deal sheet's in. I think you get 2 extra hours. So yeah, fingers crossed. It's not a Kamil Grosicki situation.
Oh god, it's the nostalgia of it all. I mean, was it six goals, 9 assists last season? If any members have listened to the podcast I've done with Lee Davey, European football journalist, members could get that for 99p or £1. It will go out at some point once the deal was announced for all to listen to. But he sounds exciting, I think, Christian. It sounds like, 22, been in the French league for a few years, but ready to step it up in the Premier League, and he's already scored and got 2 assists this season, so he's already ready to go. It's just about letting him off that leash, I guess, for us. But there's a lot of competition there in front of him. But like you say about Nuno, he's got to use it, and he's got to, like, players have got to kind of step up now. This is what I'm saying about Gibbs White. Like, you can afford to drop him now and give him a rocket up the backside if he's not performing. It goes for everyone. I know on yesterday was abysmal. That Savona is going to look in when he gets fit again. He's going to go, well, I can dislodge him.
No, straight away. I mean, obviously, I don't know if we'll get onto the Arsenal game in any capacity of his 2 weeks ago. You asking me a day after that game, I'd drop owner right now, here and now. He was crap against Palace as well. I'd drop him straight on the spot. Like, I mean, there was nothing more infuriating than watching him just swinging terrible cross after terrible cross after terrible cross on the right-hand side, neither of which finding anyone but just a West Ham head. And it was just painful, extremely painful to watch. Just crying out for a moment of quality, couldn't provide it. But, obviously that's not so I don't like. That's obviously I don't like. I love Olarena. He was fantastic last season. I could be left right back in the league. But players need competition. They need to know that their shirt isn't safe. Ultimately, we are a big club. There's no getting away from that. And like Ryan Yates said at Anfield, we're only a big club if we believe we are. And right now, the fans certainly believe we are, and the players need to believe that as well. So bad performances will get punished. They can't be rewarded anymore. So yeah, I think it is good that we have this sort of notion now of like killer mentality almost. If you want your shirt, you've got to be playing 7 out of 10 every week to get it. And if the person behind you will look at it and go, yeah, fair, I have to wait my turn. Simple as that. Or when I get sub opportunities, wherever else. Despite me saying that though, I do think Backwell will come in and start off the bat. It is very clear Doy is better on the left than he is on the right. Very intelligent footballer, don't get me wrong. I think that some of his play I really liked yesterday, but he also needs time to adapt to the league. He needs to bulk up a bit as well, but do it in a way where he doesn't lose his agility, because obviously there was one lovely moment where he just breezed past Juve. Obviously didn't go and put a ball in afterwards, but it was really good to see, because that's something that we don't do enough. Last season with Fires, Alanga especially, we get a winger booked within the first 5 minutes. You just back off and not attack him. And it was just infuriating to watch. But Doy at least will do that. I reckon Backwell will do that as well, because he's left-footed. It gives you a double threat, because he can go on the outside or he can go on the inside, and he's likely to shoot like Hudson-Odoi will. So I think we'll see him come in and start, especially as he's maybe more match ready than some of the others, and that's exciting. Obviously, Arsenal away is a pretty baptism of fire to sort of start your first Premier League game, but these players will want this opportunity. They'll relish it. So yeah, I mean, if he's half as good as Tupper makes out he is, we've probably got the next Ballon d'Or winner. So what's not to be excited about?
I'm going to get him on this pod one day. I want to know who he is. Like, he's like this mystical man that everyone knows who he is, but no one really knows who he is. I just want to know what his daily schedule looks like, because honestly, that guy's relentless, and it's great. It's great for everyone because he keeps everyone so up to date. It's not like a derogatory kind of dig at him, but it is funny at the same time because he's just everywhere. Bless him.
If he's actually good, he'll get a job as a scout. Tupper will, I've no doubt. Because like I said, I'm not even joking. Before he started going on about him, and there was a couple of others as well, to be honest. But I'd never heard of him. I confess I don't watch loads of football on the continent, but like in Italy and Germany, I know pretty much who the players are. Whereas in France, there's the odd one that pops up that I've never heard of. I'd never heard of him. So if he is good, I mean, neck. We saw what happened with the old famous tweet about Middlesbrough's recruitment team getting Kante. We should go and get Kante or something, and the rest's history. So
Yeah.
maybe there's aspiration there for Tupper.
Yeah. Now I'm really looking forward to seeing what our Europa League squad looks like, because obviously there's rules and regulations regarding homegrown and homegrown players through the academy as well. So yeah, interesting to see what's going to happen with all that. But the squad is really, really strong. We've got 2 players, if not 3 players for each position. I just think it just needs to all click now. Nuno needs to start trusting his bench a lot more, and then we'll take it from there. I mean, Lee, what you weren't there obviously on Friday to take in that Europa League draw with us live on Friday. I mean, how excited are you with that draw? I mean, there's some great ones. Obviously, Sturm Graz getting them back in to play them. Malmo, obviously, and then you got Porto, who Nuno played for, Champions League winner with, and Braga from where he's from. It's quite poignant.
Yeah, there's some good ties. What I would say is I think it's a good draw as well in terms of maybe making that top 8. Even after yesterday's result, I am putting that down to a little blip. So I think, yeah, I still think what I mean by that is we have got a fair few winnable fixtures there. And I know that Elliot will kill me for saying that because they're all winnable. And of course they are. But there is teams in there that you could throw in. I mean, I look at Villa, for example, their first game's against Bologna. What I would say, I just don't feel like there's that sort of challenge for us. I think Porto and Betis will obviously provide challenges per se. But I think out of pot 1, they were the 2 probably the best fixtures we could get other than Zagreb, I think. So, yeah, I think it's exciting. It feels real that it's been drawn. But yeah, I also think it's a really good chance to actually finish in the top 8 as well.
He's listening. There's comments for the kits, guys. New third kit looking good, Christian, as was England circa 1982, Lee. I mean, I'm not wearing any kit because I'm too cool for that. I mean, let's just go through the summer as an overall, Christian, a little bit. I mean, the amount of good we've done in this window has been ridiculous. Obviously, yes, we sold Anthony Elanga for 55 plus 5 million or whatever it might well turn out to be. But handcuffing Gibbs White to the club has been great, obviously. But back end of the week, we got Murillo a long-term deal, Wood, Aina, Sells, Callum Hudson-Odoi, obviously recently all signed new deals. And then obviously the transfer window was really strong of who we got in. I don't know what exactly our net spend was because we got rid of a lot of players. We got rid of over £100 million worth of players, but it couldn't have gone any better on paper, could it?
Yeah, I mean, I think all we wanted from the start of the summer was to just have better depth. Obviously, keep most of the players intact. I think we all expected there to be one major sale. Whether that would have been Elanga, I don't think many people would have necessarily had that on their bingo cards per se. But we all expected at least one, whether that was Murillo or Gibbs White. We all knew one would leave. But so it was a case of replacing that player accordingly, but also bolstering the team as a result. It's fair to say we've definitely done that. I mean, this is beyond what I thought would be possible, what Forest have done this window. I mean, it's not even the incomings, it's what we've kept together. Sells new deal, Williams new deal, Hudson-Odoi new deal, obviously Murillo back in January new deal, Gibbs White new deal, Woods again towards the end of last season new deal. You kept them all together. You've still got obviously time in the bank with Anderson and Sangare and a few other key players like that. But it's just really pleasing that we've actually managed to do that and also bring in the caliber player, which I did not expect. I mean, let's say even Kali Mwende, for example, was back up to Woods. That's future proofing. Again, say also with McAtee in attacking midfields. That's that's future planning there. Being in Europe, the mission we have has allowed us to future proof up the club in that regards, and we've taken it with both hands with the signings we've made. Obviously, not every signing is going to work out, but on paper, who we have signed, and really the data will back that up as well, should be a hand in glove fit for us. So yeah, I mean, in terms of what we've done, I hate saying, there's X and Y have won the transfer window and whatever else, and blah 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 blah, because it never ends well when you say that. West Ham won the transfer window last season, and we're an absolute bomb site. But so hopefully Liverpool sort of steal that sort of title away from us. But very quietly, we've amassed a squad of serious depth, of serious quality, where if we do get injuries, we've got good players that we can trust coming straight into the team. If Anderson gets a knock or gets suspended for 3 games, you've got Douglas Luiz come in. That is ridiculous. You've got 2 left-footed right wingers in Backwell and Hutchinson, assuming Backwell signs, of course, that we were crying out for last season. We got both there. Both love dribbling the ball. Both love carrying the ball. This is exciting. You've got Hudson-Odoi on the left, a rejuvenated Hudson-Odoi with his collar up as well. Admittedly, didn't play like he should have had it up on yesterday, but the fact remains that you've got this quality there. Even the Brazilian boys like Igor Jesus, for example, you don't play 4 times for Brazil if you got something about you. And we got 3 strikers with different profile now. We never had that last year. Technically, still got 4. We've got Taiwo as well. So yeah, it's been a fantastic summer for Forest. I think that the off-field drama has sort of overshadowed that a bit. I think obviously with the Palace thing and the world thing. Sorry for Steve Parish not reading his emails properly and successfully allowing him to gaslight the world into thinking Marinakis was this evil man who rang up UEFA and stole the place away from them. That sort of overshadowed it slightly, as does a whole Nuno Willy won't he sort of debacle over the last couple of weeks. But when you actually look at it, the cold hard facts, we've done really well from the recruitment standpoint. We've done really well, and that's extremely pleasing because we're set for a long time now.
It's mad what a decision for Europe can do in a month or several weeks, Christian, because if people who are big fans of this podcast would remember your head clearly falling off, obviously, when we thought Elanga and Gibbs White were going to go and you didn't think, what player's going to come to us? And I mean, what a turnaround, you have to say. And Lee, how much credit? I mean, it's going to sound like we've got this in writing, we've got to say it, but we have to give credit to the owner and the recruitment team, because I guess you have to give credit to the recruitment team maybe towards the end of the season when you know where you're going to place, because that's when the proof will be in the pudding. But on paper, they've done an incredible job of reinforcing this squad to go and go again and potentially knock on that European door again for next season as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think just to add to what Christian said, which is all bang on, I think that the thing that qualifying for Europe has done is allowed us to build this squad. I think if you look last season when we finished 17th, people will point to the fact that we signed Milenkovic and we signed Elliot Anderson. But then the squad was filled up with players like Jota Silva, Ramon Sosa, unproven, relatively cheap, quite easy to shift on if you need to. I think now we're in Europe, and I know that some people alluded to the fact that getting into the Champions League would rob us of a chance to have this squad. And I don't dispute that if we got into the Champions League, some of the signings would probably have been, a bit more stellar, I suppose. But you look at this, the window for me is comfortable. I mean, if Backward goes through, it's comfortably a 9 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10. Just you look at the quality. We've got 2 players for every single position now, pretty much. So to have a squad like this, I think it's quite exciting. I just hope that the manager we've got is going to utilise it, because if he doesn't, it would be a real shame. The thing I really like about the squad in general now is that it's all the players we've signed pretty much are on 5-year contracts. So in theory, this is where we start being that sort of club that it gets to next summer and kind of, even if we haven't qualified for Europe again, you're going to have your mandatory sale that clubs in our little bracket have to have for PSR, as Villa are finding out, and Brighton, Brentford, all those sort of clubs find out. But in theory, we should be able to keep the vast majority of the squad together, which when you're just signing 1 or 2 stellar players every year, you just get the feeling that a really good season and someone's going to come in and just pinch them and then you're back to square one. Whereas just having this one season in Europe, hopefully it's a regular occurrence, but if it's not, I just think it'll allow us to be more stable with our recruitment and not have to go out and have a window where it's quite so, we don't want to be signing 11 players every single window, do we? So this could be the start of something special, just this one kind of year qualifying for Europe, I think.
Yeah, you say instead of signing just makes me laugh, because obviously Billy Davies used to go on about it all the time, didn't he? Bless him. I know Carl Mason in the comments has put us did Backward sign. It according to Sky, it all sounds like it's signed, sealed, and delivered. It's just awaiting an announcement. And like Christian mentioned earlier in the pod, if you missed it, clubs get like a 2-hour window if they get in this sort of transfer sheet to to complete the signing. Basically, it's a bit stupid that it closes at 7 when you technically it's going to close at 9, isn't it? Let's face it.
If anyone's listening who can see the City ground, can you let us know if the floodlights are on? That might help us out.
Yeah, there's always someone walking by with their dog. Coincidentally, Shane from Ireland, he's always like taking a picture of it. Seemingly, he's just obviously on the wind up. But no, it's been a fabulous summer. Obviously, the proof will be in the pudding when we get to May sort of time, whether we're deep in any competition or going well in the Premier League and being spoken about like with a load of charlatans or whatever and trying to just steal thunder from the top 6 and what have you. I mean, any red hot take changes this season, Christian or Lee, before we end it?
I said we get to the final, didn't we, of a European competition? That's before we even knew which one we'd be in. I certainly stand by that now. I mean, you can't necessarily say that. Again, I find it crazy that Transfer Market have our squad value higher than, say, Napoli's, for example, who just want Italian champions. But obviously, we do have the highest squad value in the Europa League. That doesn't always correlate to winning it. As we know, money isn't necessarily everything. It's 11 people and a ball on some grass ultimately. But it does go a long way. Obviously, United would have had the most expensive team last season. They got to the final. I still maintain that we will hopefully get to the final. I hope we have a European sort of adventure for the ages. Just seen by the way that talking of Tupper, by the way, he shared that it looks like Jota Silva will actually be going to Sporting, which is good news for the club. I mean, apparently rejected. What was it? £15 million basically guaranteed.
Euros.
Yeah, no, it was like a €3 million fee and like a €15 million mandatory fee. So call it 15 million all in. I can't believe we got that down. But if he's going for that sort of money, again, that's testament to the recruitment team because they flipped. We signed him for like 6 million, so they've made double money on him within a year, and he wasn't that good. So, if Chelsea do that, the Herald did. So we've got to do it. And Forest do it as well. But if that comes off, that's good news for the club for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think as well. I've lost train of thought. Lee, any change of red hot takes for yourself?
No, not really a red hot take as such. I've got very high hopes for James McAtee. I just think he looks like a City player. He just looks so elegant on the pitch. And I just think out of all the summer signings, again, it's not a red hot take. So I think we all know that he's very talented. I just think he might prove to be the best of the bunch in the long term.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just hoping that it all gets sorted one way or another with Nuno and his situation with Edu. I hope yesterday's game against West Ham was a blip because this squad, for me, has got so much potential. It's unreal. It's exciting. I'm excited. So let's hope it all comes to fruition one way or another, and we're all celebrating something or other in what come May. And there's lots of podcasts going forward where we're talking about lots of wins and lots of exciting football. So yeah, no, long may it continue. But guys, if you've enjoyed it, there's 534 people in here. Drop us a like and a subscribe. Consider membership for early access. There's going to be a little hiatus, I would say, for the pod during the international break. We've absolutely hammered it throughout the summer, so it'd be nice to have a little break, especially for myself as well. So and the rest of the guys. But if you do enjoy it, do consider subscribing and all that as well, and follow us on Twitter and everything else. But until next time, anything else to add, guys, before we sign off?
Nothing for me. I wonder they've hired out Rock City for backward. We sign them like they do with Dennis.
Hopefully not, because that ended badly.
Well, yeah. No, nothing.
The only thing I want to add, just to finish with, I just turned over my little desk calendar onto September because it hadn't been done today, and it's Danilo. So I hope that's not a bad omen for this backward deal.
He's got absolute beauty.
Absolute streamer. Yeah.
Where was he doing that for us?
Bring him back.
No, thank you very much. We'll see you soon, hopefully with a special guest soon as well for this month. Until next time, come on, you Reds.